Hello. Well, this is God knows what, day 6 of my efforts to refurbish Roger's boat as a test boat for our microtransat activities. Here it is. I've done various things, such as resealing this along here, resealing these holes, putting in a stronger cross member here to take a lift, putting in another one at the aft end, and blocking up the hole that was in the hull here, and another one that was down here. I have temporarily waterproofed the rudder shaft. I don't know if you can see that. The rudder is there, and I've got this. This is the finger from an old Marigold kitchen glove, which I have taped crudely on here. It allows the rudder to move through 90 degrees in either direction. Yes, 90 degrees in either direction, without actually breaking the rubber. So this is not how I would ultimately do it, but it will do for the meantime just to stop water coming up the rudder shaft, and we'll see afterwards if any actually comes. What I'm planning to do now is to put this boat in my pond and see, weigh it down with some ballast and see if there's any leaks. This could be interesting because my pond is slippery and quite deep, so this weighs 20 kilograms, so I could be in for a fall. I don't know. I should say that I do have a more sophisticated way of sealing shafts with this properly constructed shaft seal here, and I was intending to use this to seal the box in which the servo will run, but I'm not using this kind of seal for this temporary test. Not quite so far, please. It's a bit too much to stretch. Must not drop any water in here, because the whole point of this test is to see if any water ends up in the hull. Alright, ballast. Very slightly, going by the red line, it's very slightly nose heavy at the moment, do you think? Quite a lot of it. A bucket worth of ballast hardly moved it down at all. Still. Yet. I'm just trying to avoid the pump, which I happen to know is down here, or rather the stand on which it normally goes, because I've taken the pump out because it's not working. However, right, we are here. So I've got a spider in the hull, which I didn't know about. Right, so basically I don't think it's leaking at all yet. So we give it a chance to come in. Can we give it a chance to come in here? Well, if I just turn the rudder a bit, see if this magic marigold seal is going to break and go wrong. No, nothing coming up there. Well, I suppose what I should do is leave this for a couple of hours, and just in case there's a very slow leak, maybe get some more ballast. Well, there is Roger's boat floating in my pond. He deliberately designed it to have a high degree of freeboard, and although it's got a bucket's worth of stones in it, it still has plenty of freeboard. These are Class 2 engineering bricks, so they're quite heavy. I think that's alright. I think he's going to capsize, do you? Famous last words. Right, well, it's been in for an hour, so we'll have it out now. Well, there's no sign of any water anywhere. I was just going to mark the water line, if I can. Up there on that side. Having marked the water line, and we can see how much weight there is in the ballast and how far it goes down. Right, well, I've recovered the boat from the pond and it is completely dry. I'm just going to take these ties off here and see if any water came up the rudder tube. Right, now the bottom one. This I suppose will be where the water will come up be if it's anywhere. Well, absolutely nothing came up that rudder tube. Dry as a bone. So, well, the interesting thing about this really is that I think this is basically a brass tube going through a long, this is carbon fibre tube around the outside, brass tube in the middle, in between is something which I'd have to ask Roger what it is, but it probably looks like fiberglass resin. It works very well as a seal, but it also creates a certain amount of friction. In other words, it loads the servo to somewhat excessively, I think. So, thing is, if I were to bore this out to make it less friction, of course it's more likely that water comes up, which is why we possibly may need to have that rubber proper shaft seal that I showed you before. Right, well, I earlier measured the weight of the ballast and it came to 14.9 kilograms, and that weight evenly distributed over the boat lowered the water line by 4.3 centimeters. I'm not quite sure why we need to know this, but I like to measure things. That's all, folks.